Hey, this is Doc Yates. I'm a naturopathic doctor, registered acupuncturist, and a kinesiologist, owner of the Yates Naturopathic Clinic, and the founder of the interactive health website, Able Health. And this is the Simply Health Podcast, a show for females where I work to simplify and demystify the secrets of achieving optimal health naturally, based on my own experience in working with thousands of female patients over the past 15 years of my clinical practice. Welcome to Simply Health. Hey, this is Doc Yates, and today we are talking about 5 simple tricks for dealing with hot flashes and night sweats in perimenopause and menopause. So this is something we could have got to earlier since it is such a prevalent issue for perimenopause and menopause, but we're getting to it now. And we're going to talk about it in order, like a treatment order, starting with the least, I don't want to use the term invasive, but like the most simple treatments to the most in-depth treatments. So, because generally speaking, when you go to your doctor and you're telling, okay, listen, I've got hot flashes, I've got night sweats, and this is driving me crazy, they don't typically deal, at least in where I work and treat, the doctors won't deal with bioidentical hormones. It's just not in their scope, which means that you're going to get some different options for treatment instead. 4 options, really. 1, nothing, which means that they'll be told this is just normal for menopause, just deal with it. 2, synthetic hormones, horse hormones, and then, typically, and then not in any type of dose that's appropriate. The third thing you'll see is there's antidepressants that they'll prescribe, which happens all the time because one of the off-label side effects is that for some people can reduce their hot flashes a little bit, so they'll just give you an antidepressant, which has a whole list of other side effects, which just complicate the case. And fourth, beta blockers. Beta blockers are heart medications that slow down your heart, and some of them have a positive side effect that it can reduce hot flashes. And that, to me, is just both of those are just mind-blowing prescriptions, that you would use something to that strong with that many side effects when you could just get right to it and address it. So when I first started in practice, 2008, naturopaths in Ontario, which is where I practice in Canada, is that we weren't initially using bioidentical hormones, which means that to treat hot flashes, night sweats, we had to use everything purely just with herbs, acupuncture, diet, etc. So I did a lot of work with that then and developed some good strategies for that. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to lead into the bioidentical hormones. So starting point number 1, diet and nutrition. Big point right there is reduce coffee and wine. Reduce coffee and wine. So coffee and wine will really set off hot flashes and night sweats, and the more you have of those, the more coffee, the more wine, the more hot flashes, the more night sweats. They're very strongly correlated. You could go a little bit more in depth when it comes to diet. Like in Chinese medicine with diet, they talk a lot about warming foods and cooling foods. So in this aspect, the more cooling foods, which is basically think of greens. The more greens and vegetables that you can have in your diet, and the less like really fry food and spicy foods, the less hot flashes and night sweats you'd have. Point number 2 would be some simple use of more Western herbal medicine. So the big 2 there, the one that everyone's heard of is black cohosh. And I have a friend, another practitioner, who swears by black cohosh. I personally never really found it to be that effective, but it's definitely worth trying. And another one that's very commonly suggested is sage. So I would have people, when I first started practice, I would use mixtures of sage, black cohosh. So I would use a sage tea, then I would take a tincture of black cohosh, and then I would combine that tincture of black cohosh. So a tincture is basically just like an extract of herbs. And then I would put in usually like another herb like dong quai into it. And when I very first started practice, especially in like the first few months, that was kind of it, because that's what we learned in school. After that, I started developing my own formulas, which I'll talk about in point number 4. But that can work for some people. So for some people, they do respond well with Western herbs, and you can try black cohosh, dong quai. Well, dong quai is a Chinese herb, but we used it a lot. So try those herbs and to see how they work for you. The next thing you can do is acupuncture. Acupuncture, there's techniques they use for that, for clearing heat and hot flashes, and I've definitely seen quite a few cases. By the time we had cleared fixed up their diet, reduce their coffee and their wine intake. And then we did acupuncture. And I did the acupuncture to clear heat and to reduce stress, because a lot of people, when they get stressed out, it sets them off more for hot flashes and night sweats. The next thing after that, when I was using all of this and then I still wasn't seeing results that I wanted to see, I decided to do a little bit more research, and I basically created my own formula, which I later termed Hot Flash Results. So this formula I still use today, but when I first started using it, I was using these herbal extract powders. So these were like 5-to-1 extracts, so that they were much stronger than just using regular herbs. And I had put this formula together with research, and I was looking for herbs that support yin, which I'll explain in a moment, and then herbs that clear heat. So you've probably seen like those yin-yang symbols in Chinese medicine, where it's like, it kind of looks like a half circle and half white, and the other one's kind of swirling around, and it looks like the other one's half black, so that we typically call it like yin-yang, but it's really a yin and yang. So what happens in Chinese medicine with regards to hot flashes and night sweats is that females are losing their yin, and that is the cooling, more like moistening energy that helps the body stay cool and not dry out. So, and once you don't have enough cooling, then all of a sudden this has the appearance of too much heat, or they'd call like empty heat. And that's what they consider hot flashes, night sweats to be: a lack of yin, and then leading to excess heat, or empty heat. So I put together a formula with herbs to support yin and to clear heat, and it worked amazing. And I was consistently using it. And the only downside of it is that when I first got it and I was using it in these powders, so people had to mix it in water to drink it, is that though it worked amazing, it tasted absolutely horrific. So it was so bad. The people that could handle the taste would see amazing benefits. The people who were just tasted, some people were a lot more sensitive to taste than others. It was just a no-go. So I ended up switching that into capsules, and it was still working well, but it never worked as well as when we were doing like the really high doses initially. So yes, the hot flash capsules work great, and I still use them to this day to support bioidentical hormones. But the tea, if I put it together in that tea form, it worked a little bit better. Definitely did no, you know what? It worked better, but it was so disgusting. So that's where we got to with the hot flash capsules. Point number 5 is just the bioidentical hormones. So it's straightforward. You're getting hot flashes, night sweats because your hormones are changing. We test your hormones, and then we get your hormones back to a regular level. So we get the estrogen levels balanced back, we get the progesterone levels balanced back, and then you will see the improvement that you're looking for. I typically found that when people are getting hot flashes and night sweats early, like in perimenopause, which means they're still getting a regular cycle, or some sort of cycle, maybe if it's not regular, but a cycle, like a menstrual cycle, you don't necessarily have to use estrogen and things like that. In fact, I never really prescribe estrogen if someone still has a regular cycle. So in those situations, some hot flash capsules or hot flash results capsules, maybe a little bit of some acupuncture, have them cut back on their coffee a little bit, and perfect. But once someone gets into full menopause and, you know, they're getting severe hot flashes and night sweats, it's really setting them off. They don't have any type of cycle, so the series and system of hot flashes is not kind of waxing and waning with their cycle. Then, yeah, definitely bioidentical hormones, get them fixed, get them balanced. And in some cases, I've found that by using a little bit of the hot flash result capsules, I haven't need to use as much of the bioidentical hormones. So I use them in combination sometimes. So just to review, if you're struggling with hot flashes and night sweats, and you wanted to do it in a sequence, you would try this. So step number 1, pull back on the coffee. I'm not saying no coffee, but like pull it back to a cup a day. Wine, again, I'm not saying no wine. Pull it back to the weekends though. Regular daily wine, it will definitely it will flare that up. 2, if you're going to go from a tea standpoint, sage, and you consider adding some black cohosh. So put that into a tea, and then try some acupuncture. There's a lot of great acupuncture, and the nice thing with acupuncture is you're going to get the other side benefits. So you can use it for calming, you can use it for stress, you can, if you got a stiff neck and back, you can work with all of that at the same time, plus clear some heat. I've got the Hot Flash Results capsules. These were Chinese herbal formulas to support yin and yang. And then finally, get your hormones checked. Get your hormones checked, get them balanced, and you will see the hot flashes and results go away pretty quickly. It's pretty straightforward to deal with. So I hope this was helpful. If you want to learn more, again, feel free to check out my website, AbleBeta or ablehealth.us. So ablebeta.com for now, and then it will be changing fully over to ablehealth.us. And I hope this was helpful. So this is Doc Yates signing off. Thanks for tuning in to Simply Health. If you want to learn more about health, check out Able Health. If you want to see some of the other projects that I've been working on in health, business, music, and life, please check out the links below.